Snow was falling from the sky in small quiet flakes. The air was heavy and cold, like ice was breathing. The wind made a sound like it was crying in pain. Everything was white and silent like time had stopped on a lonely frozen planet far away from any sun. A mother held her small daughter close to her chest. They were not human. They were from a peaceful alien race with blue skin and soft eyes. They had no fur, no claws, no protection from the cold. Their ship had crashed 2 days ago during a space storm. Now they had nothing but each other and the snow. The mother looked at the sky. No help was coming. No ships, no signals, no sounds. Only wind and snow and silence. The little girl was shaking. Her lips were turning blue. Her small hands were cold like stone. She said in a soft voice, "Mama, I am cold." The mother pulled her closer. She gave her the last piece of cloth she had. But it was not enough. The cold was winning. The mother looked around. No trees, no animals, no food, only white hills and broken metal from the ship. She closed her eyes and took a deep breath. Then she made a hard choice. She took off her own clothes slowly. Her body began to shake, but she did not stop. She wrapped the clothes around her daughter, tied them tight. With weak fingers, the cold bit her skin like fire, but she held her daughter close. The little girl looked up. Her voice was weak. "Mama, are we going to die?" The mother kissed her forehead. "Not yet," she whispered. "Maybe someone will come." The sky turned dark again. A storm was building. Snow was falling faster. The wind screamed louder, but the mother did not move. She kept holding her daughter, her eyes wide open. She would not sleep. She would not stop. She would protect her child until her last breath hours. Past the cold grew stronger. The mother's body was shaking more, her skin turning pale. She felt her heartbeat slowing, but still she did not let go. Then a sound far away, not the wind, not the storm footsteps. The mother raised her head slowly. Her eyes tried to see through the snow. Something was moving, not an animal, too tall, too steady. A shadow appeared, a figure walking in the storm covered in strange metal. A light glowing on the shoulder, not alien, not beast human. The mother's heart jumped. Fear and hope at the same time. Stories said humans were dangerous, but some stories also said they were kind. She stayed still. She held her daughter tighter. Human stopped a few steps away. He looked at them. He said nothing. The mask on his face showed no emotion, but he moved slowly. No threat in his hands. No weapon shone. Only a soft beep from the device on his wrist. Human knelt down. He reached into his pack, pulled out a small orange object. It was warm. He gently placed it next to the girl. She flinched, but the warmth made her smile a little. The mother watched, her eyes full of questions. The human took out a silver pack, opened it. Inside was food, not much, but enough. He pushed it forward slowly. Then he sat back waiting, watching. Little girl looked at her mother. She nodded. The girl took the food, her hand still shaking. She took a small bite. Human stood up. He looked around. Then he pointed toward the mountains in the distance. Then he showed something, a small machine. Screen appeared in the air, a map, dots blinking, one red dot. Then he pointed again toward the mountain. The mother tried to understand. Was he showing the way, or leading them into a trap? She did not know. But the food, the warmth, the calm eyes, they gave a small light of hope. She looked at her daughter. She could not survive another night like this. If this man wanted to help, she had to try. The wind howled again. The storm was near. The snow was deep. The cold was strong, but now there was something new. A human had come, and the silence was no longer alone. She did not blink. She could not. If she blinked, he might vanish like a dream in the snow. The man stood tall, not moving, like a statue of heat in a world of cold. Lights blinked on his chest. Steam rose from the sides of his boots. He was not like anything she had ever seen. Metal wrapped his body like second skin. A soft blue glow around his helmet. His face behind glass, not human enough to feel safe, not alien enough to feel known. He was something else, something from the stories, from the warnings, from the war that ended long ago. The little girl looked up. "Mama, he is glowing." The mother did not speak. Her breath was short, her body weak, but her eyes were sharp like ice blades. The man stepped. Closer, slow, careful, his hands open. He made a sound, not a word, a soft humming, like music. Not threatening, just there. He pulled a long stick from his back. The mother moved, her body ready to shield her daughter, but he stopped, clicked a button. Light came from the stick, bright, but soft. It showed the snow in circles. It pushed the cold back a little, a small miracle in the storm. He put the stick in the ground between them. Then he sat, crossed his legs, just watching, not speaking, not moving, like he was waiting for something. He reached into his pack again, pulled out a round silver box, pushed it forward. The mother touched it warm. She pressed the side. It opened with a soft hiss. Inside, small glowing stones. She did not understand, but when she placed one near her chest, the warmth spread like fire without burn. She almost cried. The girl giggled. "Mama, it tickles." The man smiled. A small smile, barely there, but it made him look human. He pulled off his helmet slowly. Steam escaped. His face appeared, rough, bearded eyes like the storm, but not cold. He whispered, low voice, slow words, sound broken. Not alien, but trying. Not enemy, not soldier. He pointed again. The map floated. This time he zoomed in. A red light blinked fast. He pointed to himself, then to the red light, then to them, then to the sky. The mother watched, tried to read his meaning. Maybe help, maybe a way out, maybe nothing. Her arms were tired, her body was bare under the wind, but her mind was working. She looked at the sky. No ship, no signal, just storm. But this man, this strange glowing human, was not dying. He had tech, he had heat, he had strength, and he was not walking away. He stood again, offered his hand. To her, not to the girl, to the mother, eyes looking into hers, not with anger, not with command, with something else, like he had seen this before, like he remembered something old, something painful. She looked at his hand, looked at her daughter, then back at him. Her hand rose, shaking, slow. She touched his glove, warm. He nodded, then turned, started walking. No more words, no pressure. He was moving toward the mountain, toward something. The mother lifted her daughter, took one last look at the wreck, the pieces of their ship, the memories of fear. Then she followed. Each step was hard. The wind pushed the cold bit, but now there were footprints to follow. The girl looked back. Mama, he is strange, but I think he is good. The mother did not answer, but in her heart, a small spark began to burn. They did not know who he was or why he had come. But now they were not alone, and in the snow that was more than hope, that was everything. The mountain did not care who climbed it. It stood like a giant made of ice and silence, its face sharp, its breath cold, its soul hidden deep under snow that never melted. The mother looked up. The clouds kissed the peaks. The path was not a path, was pain waiting to happen, but still she stepped forward because the man was walking. And her daughter was watching. The human man did not speak, but his steps made sound. Not heavy, not rushed, just steady, like he had done this many times before. Snow fell again, this time thick, each flake like a feather dipped in ice. The girl sneezed. The mother held her close, her body still weak, her feet numb. But she kept moving. The human stopped, raised his arm. A red beam of light scanned the slope. He pressed a button. A platform came out of his backpack. It hovered just above the ground. He lifted the girl, placed her on it. A soft hum. The platform floated beside him as he walked. The girl laughed softly. It feels like flying, Mama. The mother blinked hard. She had not heard that sound from her child in days. They climbed higher, the storm behind them, the cold biting harder. But ahead, there was something. The man pointed at the rock, pressed his wrist device. A part of the rock moved. Snow fell away. A hidden passage, dark, deep, made by hands, not by nature. The mother paused. How did he know? Why did he know? She looked at him. He gave no answer, only a nod. Like he understood what this place meant, like he had come here long ago and never left inside the cave. It was warmer walls, smooth, old lights blinked, flickering like dying stars. The man moved fast. Now he knew the way. They walked through metal halls, signs written in human script, doors half broken, rust eating the edges, and then a room, The mother stepped. Stopped, felt her breath catch pictures on the wall, a woman and a child human, smiling frozen in a frame, a blanket folded on a chair. Small shoes on the floor old, but untouched, a name scratched into the wall. Anna the man stood still looking, but not touching, his face silent, but his eyes loud with memory. He turned slowly, pulled another device from his belt, pressed it. A hidden panel opened. Behind it a pod, round silver lights blinking alive, ready. The mother stepped closer. The pod had 2 seats. Only 2. She looked at the man, he looked away. The girl walked to him, touched his hand. "Why are you sad, mister?" He knelt down, took something from his pocket, a locket. He opened it. Inside a picture of the same girl from the wall. She was small, like the alien child, smiling, like nothing ever hurt her. But time had passed, too much time. The man closed the locket, put it in the girl's hand. "For you." She looked up. "But why?" The man stood, his voice low, broken. "Because you remind me of her." The mother watched, her heart full, not with fear, but something deeper, something warmer than the pod, something colder than the snow. Truth. This was not just rescue. This was memory. This was a man trying to fix something, not in the world, but in himself. She stepped forward, touched the pod, felt the heat, felt the future. But then she looked back at him. He was already walking away. The door closed behind them like the end of a memory. The sound was soft, but it carried weight, like a final breath, like a goodbye that had waited too long. The room was quiet, too quiet, not like silence, but like silence that remembered. Screams, metal walls covered in dust, screens, broken chairs tipped over. One still had a coat on it, small, pink, faded from time. The human man stood in the center. He did not move, his hands by his side, his eyes locked on nothing, but also on everything. The alien mother held her daughter close. She looked around. The air here felt heavier than outside, not cold, but heavy with sorrow. There was a photo on the wall, a woman, dark hair, soft eyes, holding a small girl, both smiling, the same locket now in her daughter's hand. Girl walked forward. She touched the photo. "Is that her?" The man did not speak. He only nodded once. He walked to a nearby panel, wiped off dust with one hand, tried a code. Red light, error. He tried again, green light. The panel clicked open. Inside, another room, dark, but alive. This room was clean, preserved, a whisper of what used to be bed shelves, drawings on the wall, a small stuffed animal sitting upright on a pillow waiting. The man stepped in, touched the bed, sat down slowly. His shoulders dropped, his back curved, like a tree that had bent in too many storms. Alien mother followed. She looked at the room, then at him. She saw it now. This was not just a place. This was a wound. She did not ask questions. She did not need to. The answers were all around. He opened a drawer, took out a small device, turned it on. A blue light appeared in the air. A hologram, a girl's face. She was singing a birthday song, her voice soft, sweet, broken in places. The human man closed his eyes for a moment. He looked like a father again. Not a survivor, not a stranger, just a father. The little alien girl sat beside him. She leaned on his arm. She did not speak, but her small hand touched his, and that was enough. The mother stood near the wall, her own eyes full. She had crossed a frozen planet to save her child. She had given her warmth, her skin, her strength. But now in this quiet room, she saw a man who had given even more and lost everything. He opened another hatch. Cold air rushed out. Inside, a pod, clean powered, still working. It had room for 2. The mother stepped forward. She touched the glass. It was smooth, clear, hopeful. It could fly them away, save them, lift them from the snow and the pain. The man looked at her. No words, just a question in his eyes. "Will you take it? Will you live?" She did not answer with voice. She picked up her daughter, held her gently, and looked back at him. Smiled, but the smile did not reach his eyes. He turned away, opened a closet, took out an old jacket, worn but thick. He placed it around the mother's shoulders, warm, heavy, full of stories. It could no longer speak. The pod doors opened, lights inside blinked, welcoming, ready. The mother hesitated. The man stepped back, nodded once, then turned toward the hallway, back to the dark. The girl looked up. "Is he coming with us, Mama?" The mother looked at the man, then at the pod, then at the snow falling on the screen. She did not know, but she knew he had already saved them, and now he was walking back into the cold, because sometimes a broken heart only feels safe in the storm. The pod doors stayed open, like a question waiting for an answer, like a hand reaching out, but not pulling, like a choice made of quiet and ache. The mother stood at the edge, 1 foot on the floor of metal, 1 foot still on the ground of memory. Her daughter in her arms, eyes half asleep, heart beating slow, safe for now, but not for long. The pod hummed softly, a gentle sound like breathing, like something alive. The cold, human man stood in the doorway, not moving, not speaking, just there like a shadow, made of kindness and grief. The mother turned to him, her lips parted, but no words came, because what words could she give him? What words could hold everything he had done, everything he had given? The man looked down, then looked at the girl. His eyes stayed there for a long moment, like he was trying to burn her face into his soul. He pulled something from his belt, a small chip shaped like a coin. He placed it inside the pod's console. It blinked, light green: navigation, locked route set, auto launch. In 2 minutes the girl looked at him. Are you coming too? Her voice small, hopeful, innocent, like fresh snow. The man gave a soft smile. Not forced, not full, just soft. He knelt down, touched her hand, then gently took the locket she still held. He opened. It showed her the picture again. That's my Anna. She loved stars. She said space was a big warm blanket. But it was not warm, not for her, not for me. The girl tilted her head. Is she gone? The man nodded. Long ago. The mother placed a hand on his shoulder, her eyes full of something only a mother can feel, not pity, not sorrow, but knowing. You are giving us her place. She did not say it out loud, but he answered anyway. Yes. The pod beeped. 1 minute. The mother stepped inside. The girl waved. Come with us. Mister, you can sit beside me. I won't take much room. The man did not move, only looked away, toward the hallway, toward the past. The girl leaned out, eyes shining. Why won't you come? The man looked at her, and this time he answered, because I already left once, and I don't want to take someone else's place again. The mother understood. This was not only about space. This was about healing, about letting someone live where another could not. The door began to close. The girl reached out. The man caught her hand one last time, held it, squeezed it gently. You live, that is enough. The door sealed. The pod lifted, soft light wrapped around it. Then it was gone, rising through the mountain, through snow, through sky, toward the stars. The man stood alone. In the echo of silence, in the ghost of warmth, he looked at the empty hall. He looked at the photo on the wall. He looked at the small shoes on the floor. Then he sat on the bed, closed his eyes, and whispered, Donna, I saved one this time. Asterisk. The stars opened like flowers in the dark, and the pod moved through them like a quiet wish inside. The little girl slept, her chest rising slow, her small fingers still holding the edge of the seat, like she was afraid to let go. Even now beside her, the mother sat still, eyes wide, not blinking, not crying, just watching the window, like the stars outside might vanish if she turned away. Her arms were empty now. No frost, no storm, no man in a metal suit walking ahead. Just silence, not cold this time, but strange, like a silence too soft to trust. The pod spoke in a voice not human. Re-entry in 40 seconds. Life support stable. Rescue beacon activated. The mother leaned down, touched her daughter's hair, soft again, warm again, alive, but her mind was still back there on the mountain, in that ship made of sorrow, with that man who had given up his seat, his warmth, his chance. The pod shook gently. Light grew stronger. The sky outside changed. Darkness turned to a bright gold, then to soft white, then to blue below. A station floated like a sleeping whale above the clouds, lights blinking, shuttles moving, hope living. The pod connected. Docked, open guards in silver uniforms pulled them out. They wrapped the mother in blankets. They gave the girl food, water, care. The captain of the station looked at the pod, logged 2 passengers, 1 child, 1 adult, alien life signs. Only, he looked at the mother. Where is the human who launched this pod? The mother pointed to the sky, back to the world below. "He is still there." The captain frowned. Why, she said nothing, just looked away. Later in the medbay, the girl sat up, her eyes clear, her hands strong. She asked the guard, "Can we talk to the man?" The guard shook his head. No signal, too much interference from the storm. But the girl would not stop. Asking every hour, she asked again, "Please find him." The mother watched. She wanted to ask too, but she was afraid of the answer. Then, after 2 days, a signal appeared, small, broken, a heartbeat, one line, one pulse, then another, then silence again. But it was enough. The crew locked onto the point, a signal buried under snow and metal, too weak to speak, but strong enough to cry. The captain turned to the mother. "We found something. We will go get him." She stood up. So did the girl. "We are coming too." The ship landed where the snow still howled. The mountain stood like a wound refusing to heal. They walked through it. Machines cleared the way, and then a sound under the ground, a metal door, still warm, still breathing. They opened it. Inside, the man was there, lying near the bed, one hand still holding the picture frame, his lips cracked, his face pale, but his chest moved up, down, slow, alive. Girl ran to him, fell beside him, held his hand. "He told you to come with us, mister." His eyes opened, only a little, but enough. "I came, just took the long way." The mother touched his forehead. "He was burning, but not fading. He is safe now," she whispered, and in the snow that once only gave silence, there was now a name, a memory, and a second chance. The stars were no longer far. They were close now, like soft eyes watching from the sky, like quiet witnesses to something small and something big. He lay in the station's recovery room, surrounded by machines that hummed like lullabies, wrapped in warmth not made by sun, but by the hands of strangers who now called him family. The girl sat by his side, her head resting near his arm, her eyes blinking slowly like she was guarding a dream. She had not let go of his hand since the rescue. The mother stood by the window, watching the curve of the planet below, a world that tried to kill, and yet a world where something lived again. The human opened his eyes, slow, like waking from a deep sleep that had lasted too long, his breath shallow but steady. Each inhale like a promise kept. He turned his head, saw her, the little girl still holding on, still smiling. "You stayed," he whispered. She nodded. "You saved me, so I saved you back." His lips lifted, not wide, but enough to make the lights feel brighter. Mother walked over, knelt beside him. She held out something in her hand, the locket, the picture still inside. He looked at it for a long time, then closed it gently and gave it back to her. "It's hers now," he said. "Let her carry it." The captain came in, quietly spoke with a soft tone. "We reviewed the pod logs, the supplies, the data." He looked at the man with new eyes. "You gave up your place twice." The man smiled again. Not a hero's smile, just a tired one. "I couldn't save mine, but I could save hers." Captain nodded, then turned to the mother. "We are offering you a home here, both of you, safe, warm, free." She looked at her daughter, then at the man. "We are not whole without him." The captain looked surprised, but the girl spoke up before he could answer. "He is our hero. Heroes don't stay alone." The station became their new sky, not perfect but peaceful, a place to breathe, to grow, to begin again. The man healed slowly. His strength returned, not all at once, but enough. The girl stayed near him every day, asking questions, telling stories, drawing stars on the walls. She called him uncle now, sometimes even father, and he never corrected her. The mother worked in the station's garden, planting seeds from her world, watching them rise in human soil. She smiled more often now, but only when the man was near. One night, the girl brought a blanket, pulled it over all three of them on the viewing deck. Stars above, planet below, her voice soft. "You know, I think she's up there, the one in the locket, watching us." The man looked up, his eyes wet but calm. "Maybe she is. Maybe she's the reason I found you." Girl yawned, snuggled between them. "Safe, warm home." Man leaned back, closed his eyes, and for the first time in many years, he felt something new. Not sorrow, not guilt, not survival hoping, not for himself, but for what he had helped protect, what he had given, and what he had finally received, a reason to live again. not as a soldier, not as a ghost, but as a man who chose to love among stars, among strangers, among family.